Oh, hey, welcome back to the Mission Empowered podcast with me, your host, Emily. Hope you are all good. That was very nearly American. No. So let's get into this episode. I am not going to lie, I recorded this episode earlier in the week. And when I got to the end of it, I just very rarely, but sometimes I think that was waffling. I wouldn't want to listen to that. So I'm re-recording it. Shorter version, snappier version. This is what this needs to be, this topic. So today's episode is all about you are what you eat, okay? Not the 90s program. Was it the 90s or the noughties? No relation, okay? We're not, no relation to that program. We are going to talk about how what we eat impacts you physically, on the outside, on the inside, mentally, everything, because it absolutely does. Okay, so first thing we're going to cover is our health. Okay, and when I'm talking about your health, I literally mean your immune system. Okay, is that our body is, if you have a good quality, high quality, nutritious diet, your immune system is going to thank you by functioning properly. Okay, it is such a shame that like I see a lot on social media, like when people have got severe health disorders or things like cancer, or they get diagnosed with something really, really horrible and terrible. But on social media, they're then like, and then they went on this diet. And actually, when you look at the diet, it's like a pretty healthy diet, right? And I'm just like, why is it taking to get into the point of severely ill, or even when even like go onto the opposite end of the spectrum, if you have a cold, okay, what do you do if you have a cold, or you say, I'm going to eat loads of fruit and veggies? Why does it take us to getting ill to then be like, right, I'm going to eat healthy? Okay, surely, eyes open, we know that eating healthy equals good for our body. Okay, so why are we not doing it all the time? Because we should be. So I think point one, understanding that what you put in your body is going to dictate your immune system and how healthy you feel. I really want this to hit home, is if you are one of these people that you get poorly quite frequently, have a little look and think, okay, what is my diet made up of? Is it made up of high quality nutritious food, or is it made up of a lot of processed food? Okay, now when we talk about processed food, I want to be super, super clear, because processed food, I should really say ultra processed food, but it's quite a mouthful. So just before I get into it, because I probably will say this a lot, processed food can be things like pre-chopped iceberg lettuce in a bag. That's processed. Okay, it's come out the ground. It's still been processed. Is that bad for us? No, but it's still slightly processed. Okay, when I talk and say the word processed food, I actually mean ultra processed food, the man-made stuff, the stuff that is, being lobbed in your freezer, going straight in the oven, the stuff that comes in the microwave pack with the cling film over it or the cellophane over it, the cereal bars, the protein bars are still ultra processed. We're going to talk about that in a second. And yeah, the stuff in where you look at it and it's got 79 different ingredients. Okay, that's ultra processed stuff. Okay, when we look at processed stuff, the majority of stuff we eat in the Western world is still processed, because it probably has gone through a process. God, how many times am I going to say process? But it probably has gone through some sort of food processing, but generally to make it healthier for us, or to make it more accessible for us. Like, that's bottom line. So, for example, 6 tomatoes that you get in a packet probably are still slightly processed, because they've probably gone through a preservative system to make them healthier and for us to eat. They haven't just come straight off the ground in the packet. Okay, or they've been washed, because they put fertilizer on when they grow, and then they get washed and then they get put in the packet. That's still processed. Okay, so when I talk about processed food, I mean ultra processed food. That is what I'm talking about, the real man-made, chemical enhanced food. Okay, so let me circle back then. So point one is, we are what we eat is dramatically going to impact our immune system and our overall health, and we shouldn't have to wait till we get ill to then be like, oh, I'm gonna just eat loads of fruit and veg. me, for example, I do eat a lot of fruit and vegetables every single day, and I can really feel like if I haven't for a few days for whatever reason, I can really feel it. What if I get poorly, touch wood, I do then make a conscious effort to eat more. But touch wood again, I don't really get that poorly, and I do touch wood. Christ, on about touch wood. But I do put that down to I'm very conscious of my diet. You know, I do eat lots of fruit and vegetables. I do eat variation of nuts, seeds, and all stuff like that. So, but if you are one of these people and you get colds, or your kids, this is a good one. Your kids get colds, your kid getting ill quite frequently. Have a little look. Are they getting enough high quality food? The fruits, the veggies, the good stuff. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about then is when it comes to we are what we eat, is our mood. Okay, our mood and our energy levels. I've put energy in a separate one. No, let's park energy then. Let's talk about mood / motivation, okay? Because motivation's a mood rather than physical energy. So when we talk about mood, then there is a massive, strong correlation between our feelings and our gut microbiome. Okay, so our gut microbiome is a live bacteria that lives in our digestive system, in our stomach. Okay, now this bacteria is very much affected by the food that it comes into contact with. Okay, I'm not gonna go into like super sciencey because, like I said, I don't want this episode to be waffling. But so if that gut microbiome, it comes into contact with high quality nutritious food, your fruits, your vegetables, your lean meats, your nuts, your seeds. What else have we got? Your whole grains. Okay, so your nutty seedy bread, your whole grain rice, whole grain pasta. When it comes into contact with all of this stuff, your kefir, so like your live gut, your live dairy, live bioculture, I think it's called, but the yogurty drink, okay? When it comes into contact with all of that good stuff, it sets it alight, and not physically, but I mean like it sets it on its happy way, sets it alight. Yeah, you go, what's that word? Think you can bust. Anyway, you don't. It sets it alight as in like it makes it feel good, okay? And when your gut microbiome feels good, that then sends a message to your brain that we feel good, okay? Ever heard the expression good food, good mood? Okay? Absolutely true. Absolutely true. So if you are, we know the link between people who get depression. Not everyone, but there is a high link between depression and then people being overweight / obese. There is a high link into that. So again, we know it's not coincidence. There are scientific studies that overweight, obese people are more inclined to have depression. Okay, and we know a lot of overweight and obese people don't have that high quality diet. Okay, so again, just bringing it back to a bit more surface level here. If you are a person that struggles with your mood, and I don't mean from a clinical point of view where, well, no, actually, fuck it, yeah. Even if you are on antidepressants, right, or even if you're not, but you struggle with low mood, low motivation, can be a bit snappy, be a bit grumpy, look at your diet. What is your diet? Majority, is it the good quality foods that we've covered, or is it the processed foods? Are you a bit of a sucker for having the cake most days? Okay, are you a bit of a sucker for not making your own meals but buying the microwave meals because they say low calorie, high protein? We're going to get to this bit at the end. Okay, let me just make a little note. Are you a sucker for falling into that trap for ease? Okay, do you just have a coffee and a cereal bar for breakfast because it's only 200 calories, but the quality isn't there? Okay, so again, point 2 is that good food absolutely affects our mood and our energy and our motivation and our well-being, our mental health well-being. Okay, so not only have we covered physical health, but from a mental health point of view, if we are having a low quality nutrient diet, then our mental health is at risk of being affected as well. If have you ever had one of them weekends where everything's sort of gone to shit? I have. I'm going to be dead honest. I have. And you think, do you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to cook. I want to sit on the couch. I want to put a pizza in the oven. I want to have my popcorn and I want to have my chocolate. Right? There's nothing wrong with that, because sometimes, and I don't mean every weekend. I don't mean every other weekend. I'm talking twice a year, 3 times a year, right? But sometimes that is beneficial for our mental health, just to do that. But I guarantee you don't wake up the next day and feel any better. In that moment in time, that dopamine hit that you're getting from the food, okay, might feel good, but the following day, your mood is low, your motivation is low, your gut is well and truly pissed off at you, you're bloated, okay, you can't go for a shit, and it's to do with that quality, that binge of very low quality food, okay. I think I just want to throw in here, I am not saying you can't ever eat crisps and chocolate and a pizza in the oven and a fucking microwave lasagna if that's what your heart desires. But what I am saying is that it should not be making up your day-to-day diet. It shouldn't be part of your weekly diet. Okay? That is too much. Having that blowout every Friday or every Saturday is probably going to have a negative effect on you that following day. Okay, so I would, like I said, like really space it out. If you're one of these people that does a weekly takeaway, my opinion, still too much. And you know what? It's probably going to piss people off, but hey, that's my opinion. Okay, it's what I work with people in. It's what I've experienced with myself in the past. For me, if you are getting that weekly Chinese, that weekly Indian, I will absolutely upfront say to my clients, that's still a little bit too much. You're still taking out one day every single week, or 2 days, once when you're eating it, the day after you're feeling sluggish. Like it's still too much to feel like shit for. So, but yeah, so I just want to say, I'm not like demonizing any food, but what I am saying is what we tend to think is okay is actually still too much. We just live in a society where, unfortunately, the majority of people do that. They do have a very high ultra processed diet. So what do we think? If the majority of people are doing it, we call that normal, don't we? And we have got in our DNA the feeling of we want to fit in, we want to be normal. So if we follow them actions, hey, guess what? We feel normal, we feel part of the crowd. But at the same time, but then still questioning, why do I feel shit? Okay. So mood. So we've covered physical health, we've covered mental health. Okay. Sleep. Okay, what you eat dramatically impacts your sleep from numerous different reasons, but the one that I'm going to focus on for now is this. Okay, when we go to sleep, that is our body's chance. So let me step back a little bit. When we are awake, your body is in alert mode, okay? It's on what's going on, what's around us. Let me keep them safe. Let me keep them alive. Let me keep them from danger, okay? When we are asleep, in our home comfort, your body can relax a little bit because it knows you're asleep. It knows that danger is very low. You're not going to walk around and hit your head on anything or fall down the stairs. So your body is like, right, now I'm to sleep. Let's go through our internal. Let's have a little look what needs repairing, what needs looking after, what needs restoring. That is what our bodies do when we go to sleep, which is why sleep is so important for overall health, for rest, recovery, all of that, right? Here's the problem. If we have a high ultra processed diet with these man-made chemicals, lots of processed sugars, trans fats, which your body is just like, whoa, I don't know what this is. I don't know how to deal with this. It's having this random effect on all different things. It's causing inflammation here, there, everywhere. Your gut's going wild because it's really sad that you're putting all this crap in you. Your body, when you are asleep, is like, let's deal with that first. Let's get that inflammation down. Let's process this food through the body. Let's try and push out as much as we can. And it wants to do that before it then starts looking after the things that you really need looking after. Okay. So if you think that opportunity when you're asleep, that your body wants to make you feel amazing and healthy to wake up the next day, but we are giving it this huge task to do before it even deals with that stuff of getting rid of this high processed diet that we've consumed in the day, or that really stodgy shit meal that you had for your tea because you couldn't be bothered cooking, or you didn't prep, or whatever, because your mate said you want a Mackey's, yeah? And yes, I am talking about McDonald's. It's bad for you. End of. And look at me, just stop my train of thought now. But when you're, yeah, so when your body is going to sleep and it has to deal with that first, it is being taken away from the opportunity of dealing with the good stuff, which is why, again, people with a high ultra processed diet tend to have sleep issues. Did I touch on digestive issues? I can wrap that in, but I'm sure you can imagine a lot of people nowadays. How common is IBS? Okay, I have IBS, right? Okay, and I'm not saying it's not a thing. Okay, I totally get it is. Do I think the majority, let's throw it out there, I think the majority of people, and again, this is off, I work with women with IBS, okay? And when I talk to them about their diet or about what their weekly food structure looks like, 9 times out of 10, too much high ultra processed food, too much alcohol, not enough water, fizzy drinks, diet drinks. And like I said, I am not barrening, is that the word, barren? I'm not like, yeah, someone tell me if that's a word. But I'm not basically barrening out any of them things. But I'm just going to circle back to what I said. The problem is we see it as normal to make these things part of our day today, our day in, our day out, and then even more so over the weekend. Yeah. And then, so these people who tell me they've got IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and I'm like, yeah, but your fibre intake is mad low. You're not hitting your fruit and veg quota, but they're staying within the calories. I'm like, yeah, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. Okay. We then go into, well, let's try it my way because you're coming to work with me for help. So let me try this for a couple of weeks. 6 weeks down the line, first and foremost, is shitting every day like a normal person. Okay. They are not having these insane bloat flare ups. They are not having these cramps that they were getting once a week, every few days, because they changed their diet. Because their diet was very, very ultra processed, their IBS symptoms either disappeared, which I've absolutely had, or massively calmed down. And this is what I mean. IBS isn't always triggered by the types of food that we have, but there is a lot of people that suffer with IBS, and it is absolutely diet induced, diet triggered, something like that. Okay. Eliza's going through sleep regression, by the way, guys. So if my words don't sound right, just go with it. You'll get the gist. Okay, so we've been through health, we've been through mood, we've been through sleep, and we've been through digestion. Okay, have we? Yes, fibre. So IBS, people with suffer with IBS or digestive issues, not going to the toilet. You should be going to the toilet once a day. Going to the toilet every 4 days. It's not fucking normal. It's not. It's not normal. You probably are not eating enough quality nutrient food with high fibre to push everything through your digestive system. We should be going once a day. We should be going once a day. If you're not having a shit once a day, oh, this is where my DMs are going to open with all people telling me about their poo. Please look at your fibre content. I have done a whole podcast on fibre. I'm not going to dive into it now. It is called The Secret Power of Fibre. Go and Google it. Go and Spotify, Google it, or Apple Podcasts, whatever you're listening to, listen to it, okay? But the fibre we get in our diet is from our fruits, our vegetables, our whole grains, okay? A lot of the time, people aren't eating enough of them. They then say they've got IBS. What do they do when they go to IBS? They go to the doctors. What do the doctors do? Well, they don't fucking ask you about your diet. I know that for sure. And they give you medication. You're then reliant on medication to take a shit when actually all you need to do is sort your diet out. Okay? So, and I'm not being blasé. I'm talking about the majority. If you are listening to this being, oh, but I've tried the diet, I'm not talking to you, obviously. I'm just saying for the majority, if you are listening to this and you have got IBS, please go and look at your diet. Okay. Energy then. Physical energy. Okay. And the one that we're going to cover after this is about physique. Okay. So you are what you eat. If you are low in energy, you are more than likely having low quality. you are more than likely having low energy quality food. Low energy quality. See what I mean? You're with me. Stay with me. So you are probably having low quality food that isn't giving you optimal energy. Now, I am not talking about caffeine, okay? Now, a really cool thing that I know, but I'd never thought about this about caffeine, but I really hope it's going to be cool for you to understand, because I was like, makes sense. Caffeine is not energy. Caffeine is a stimulant, okay? So caffeine stimulates us, gives us that alertness, but it doesn't give us physical energy. And like when I heard someone talking about that, I was like, duh, like that makes so much sense. So if you are low in energy and you have caffeine, what you actually really need is energy from food, maybe paired with caffeine. Okay. So that's why God, if you've ever had like a full sugar, I don't think I ever have. Maybe when I was on holiday hungover, but like a full sugar like Red Bull, where it's got the energy because it's got the sugar and it's got the caffeine. Fuck me, you are bouncing off the walls. Now I'm not telling you to go and have that, but I'm just saying like it makes sense, right? Sugar-free Red Bulls are probably more addictive than, I'm saying Red Bull, but you know any other energy drink are probably more addictive than the sugar-free Red Bulls or sugar-free Monsters or whatever are probably more addictive than the full fat ones, because you're gonna, that stimulant's gonna wear off quicker. Anyway, that was by the by. We're not talking about that now. But yeah, so you are what you eat when it comes to energy. So when it comes to ultra processed food, which has got like, you know, a lot of the man-made sugars in, think about like things like this: the pastries, the sweets, like candy sweets or whatever, cereal bars, dried fruit covered in yogurt. How the fuck did that get marketed as healthy? Is fucking beyond me. I hope no one's sitting at home listening, eating their yogurt covered cranberries like, okay, then listen again, not demonizing them. They probably taste great, but they are not a fucking health food, mate. Oh my God, no. Okay, low fiber. They are not part of your one of day. That's bollocks. High sugar, they are going to give us this massive spike, and also a lot of the time they have added sugar in them. Okay, if you look at the packets when you buy these dried fruit marketed as health products, you look at the ingredients, and a lot of time they've got even more added sugar. Anyway, so when it comes to ultra processed foods, like I was saying, dried fruit, it's been massively processed because it's been dried, then it's been fucking dipped in yogurt or chocolate or coated in sugar, whatever it's been. That is going to give you a real fast energy spike. Okay, and we don't, unless we are using that for a performance side of things. So, you know, we're going to the gym, we want to smash out a really intense session, but we've only got 20 minutes till we get there. Okay, then maybe that's when we'd use something like that to just give us that spike to get through. But the majority of us just want fucking energy to get through the day. We don't want to go through this peak and trough of having our breakfast, feeling shit by 11, then we feel shit at 2, then we feel shit just before our tea, and then after our tea we're exhausted. Okay, we just want to have energy at a nice steady level throughout the day, right? Am I right, sister? Yes. So when that's what we want, we then have to look at, well, where am I getting that energy that's going to keep me through that? So the answer is in your whole food. Okay, in your whole food diet, in your high quality nutrient dense diet. Okay, now that is still having things like fruit. Okay, but the positive thing about eating whole fruit compared to dried fruit is that fruit has fiber in it. I really feel like I'm talking a lot about fiber in this, but it's relevant. What fiber does is that you are still going to get, fiber is like a barrier. Okay, and the sugar that's in the fruit or in the food, because lots of food has sugar in, right? Lots of food, you know, we know calories are energy, right? So we're not just talking about sugar here, we're talking about lots of different types of food. But when we have fiber in our food, it basically, it has to, the fiber stops that sugar spike happening so quickly because it has to break, your body finds it really hard to break down fiber, so it breaks it down slower. Therefore the release of energy is slower, therefore the release of energy is steadier. Okay, and that's what we're looking for. That's why a high fiber diet is very, very good for us, because we don't have to cut out food groups. I've spoke a lot in this podcast. I'm going to speak more about it at the end, about having a balanced diet. We want to I'm skipping ahead, but anyway, we want to have fats, carbs, lean proteins, dairies, fruit, and I've said before as well, it's not about cutting out ultra processed foods, because I get it, they taste nice. It's about really flipping the scales on making sure that our diet in the day is 90% that whole diet, and maybe 10% of your freaking, I don't know, your iced coffee that you want out the tin, because I like them, so I'll put that out there. Your little cereal bar or your little chocolate bar that you'd have after your tea, again, I like them. Not necessarily every day, but it's in there, okay? And we're just trying to flip the switch on people looking at these high processed foods, for example, the protein yogurts, but that have all like the sweeteners and the extras in, and being like, well, I'll have that for my breakfast, and then for lunch, well, I've got this microwavable meal that's 25 grams of protein and 300 calories, and I throw it in the microwave, and then for me tea, I fucking don't know, but do you know what I mean? I'm having something else that I throw in the oven, and there's absolutely no fibre, no fruit and veg, no quality, just basic nutrient dense food. It's all this marketing stuff that's thrown at you. So let me come back to that in 1 second. The last thing I want to touch on then, so we've touched on energy, and actually you are what you eat, and if you're eating high processed fast energy, you are going to feel that peak, that trough, and feel quite sluggish throughout the day. So when we look at our physique, okay, you are what you eat. When you look at someone and you think, oh no, not look at someone, I don't like doing comparison, but when you look a certain way, that's me kicking my feet on the radiator, right? When you look at someone, and let's say look at someone, fuck it, when you look at someone and they look a certain way and they look healthy, okay, and healthy, by the way, I'm not talking they look shredded, I'm just saying you can look at someone sometimes and the way they carry themselves, their skin, their eyes, their hair, their physique, they look healthy. I would absolutely say the majority of people that look healthy, and I'm really going to say this again, they're not skinny, they're not absolutely fucking ripped, shredded. I mean, they just look that way. The majority of them will have a good diet, okay? A good, balanced overall diet. I know people that have been in calorie deficits, but have been fitting all their calories from an ultra processed diet, like I said before, with the yogurts, the micro meal, and they don't look healthy. They've dropped fat, but they still don't look healthy. And it's like they lose their glow a little bit. Okay. I promise you now, if you can change your diet to having this more nutrient dense whole food diet, not only will you start to feel better, but you absolutely will look better as well. You absolutely will. If you're getting your calories from, if you're in your calorie deficit and your aim is fat loss, but you're getting your calories from, these good nutrient dense foods, your fat loss will be easier and will be more effective, because your body will be thanking you for putting all this good stuff in, versus having, a calorie deficit with fucking 10 biscuits fitted into it every day because you want to and because it fits in your calories, okay? I promise you, you are what you eat, and you will, making this change will massively benefit you, and not just your physique, but, in, like we've covered, in your health, in your mental health, in your mood, in your energy, in your digestion. It will cover you from so many different angles. So last little bit then on physique. So like I said, you are what you eat. This is coming at a point of strength and tone and muscle, okay? Is that when you want to get toned, we know that tone is a combination of building muscle and pulling body fat down, okay? But trust me, your body is not going to be building optimal muscle off processed, highly processed food being the majority of your diet, okay? So if you think you're going to get absolutely in great shape and feel in great shape by just zoning in on your whole diet being clear ways, protein yogurt, protein shakes, protein bars, it's not, because your body is going to need more goodness to have that wellness look, and to make the process of building muscle easier. We want to be giving the body the most easiest way to do it, which is by giving it whole sources of protein, such as your Greek yogurt, your lean meats, your lean fish. Your body is going to find that building muscle and taking that protein, converting it into lean muscle tissue so much easier than us constantly just firing overly processed stuff at it. Now, full stop. Next paragraph. I am not saying the protein yogurts, the protein shakes, have to be a complete ban out of your diet, okay? Full transparency. I have whey protein for my breakfast every day, but I pair that whey protein with kefir. Again, it's a processed food, but it's not an ultra processed food. So I just want to repeat like what I said at the beginning. Processed food is anything really that doesn't just come from the ground into your mouth, okay? Ultra processed food is the chemical crap that has been made and then they've called it food, okay? So I have my whey protein, and yes, it's got sweeteners and stuff in it, but I know that whey protein is a really good way to get my protein in for the day, and I pair it with my kefir, so I look after my gut health, and then I add my chia seeds into it. I then add my mixed berries into it, so I have blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, and strawberries in it. So I know that I'm trying to complete that meal by bulking it up with the good stuff, okay? I just wanted to, get that in, because before anyone freaks out and never buys a protein yogurt again, I'm just saying, like, we're talking about the whole of your diet, the majority, the bigger picture of it, okay? Is that if you are on a physique journey and you want to lose fat or get toned, you are going to make it a hell of a lot easier for yourself by eating a good quality, nutrient dense diet, okay? Right. I think that was everything. I said at the end I was going to cover food, but I feel like I've already done that. Like, what classes it's ultra processed and processed. I feel like I've already done that. I feel like you're with me. It's my podcast, so I'll just do a dead little summary then. So we have covered how it affects everything from our mental health, physical health, immune system, mood, motivation, sleep, energy. Like, putting ultra processed food in our body, we are risking a lot of that stuff being negatively impacted. Okay. I think, like I said before, about the whole normal thing, we go into a shop now, there's one aisle of fruit and veg, there's 6 aisles of man-made products. What are we more inclined to buy more of? Okay. It's not our fault, but it's our responsibility to start to understand this and make these better choices. Okay. So we are going to be tempted by a lot of great marketing. This is healthy, this is high in protein. It literally will tell you this is healthy, this is great for this, on the box, on the packaging. It is up to us as responsible adults to question, although it's telling me that, is it really? Because we know that that's what these people get paid thousands and millions to do, is to market and sell these products, when in reality you've got little old me here trying to battle against them and be like, use your noggin. Okay, is that when it comes to food, the less processed that we can get it, the better it is going to be for us overall. It is not saying we can't ever have the little snacks even daily, but what we're trying to do is keep about 80% of the food that we do have and we do consume, keep it to the good stuff. Okay, your body will thank you for it in more ways than one. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. What is so funny though is that the episode I recorded on Monday was like 36 minutes long, and this is 35 minutes long, and I was like, oh, it's too waffly, but I don't feel like this has been waffly, so hopefully not. Guys, remember, you are what you eat. Okay, think about the good stuff putting in, and it will feel good on its way out. Okay, that was random. Right, let me know how this podcast lands. Any questions that you've got, always love to hear that. I'm over on Instagram @_eat_powered, and I'll see you next time. Okay, love you, bye.